Hi, today we're going to be making this charcoal drawing, and this is, I've actually already finished it, but I wanted to go back and tell you a few problems that I had during making it. First of all, you have to keep your fingers clean, or else what will happen is you'll get smudge marks on the egg and it won't look as clean and crisp. If possible, I used a charcoal stick because that's all I had here. If possible, go out and buy a charcoal pencil. It'll probably work a lot better, and it'll be easier to manipulate, and it will keep your fingers clean. Also, keep your pencil marks light. Initially, I did the shadowing of the pencil mark. I shadowed it in, and everything was so dark, and I couldn't erase it properly afterwards. So make sure you keep it really light. So what you'll notice is partway through, I ended up, it's a different picture. I had to change it because I just completely made a mess. Also, the table line, if you notice in this one, it's above the halfway point, and this is more in the middle. I think it looks more appealing this way. And practice, I did this over 3 times. The pencil mark was too dark. I smudged it. The shadows were too dark. Keep your shadows really, really light if you want a nice, clean look. If you want a more harsh look, you can do your shadows dark. And last but not least, you'll need a fixative to spray on this afterwards. This is a matte finish, and this is not a permanent. When I looked it up on the internet, you can use it, but they didn't suggest that. They suggested Prismacolor Fixative, and it's only $6.92. So it's Prismacolor. Hi, my name's Veronica. Welcome to our beginner's art class. What I'm going to do is I chose a subject that's easy to draw, eggs. And also we're just going to be using charcoal this time. So what I've done is I've set the eggs up, and I've used cotton balls to hold the eggs in place, and then I used a lamp, a desk lamp, to set up to the side of the eggs so that it would cast a shadow, because it's really difficult guessing where the shadow is supposed to go. You will need 140-pound cold press Archer's watercolor paper, masking tape to tape the paper down so it doesn't buckle. You will also need pencil, eraser, which I ended up using a lot, and water. And I always get 2 containers of water. I always like to leave one clean for a spot where you just need plain water. Also, I did the drawing. I sketched out my drawing already, and I did it a little darker so you could see it in the picture. But later on, I am going to lighten my lines a little bit later. And that's the end of part 1. So you can get yourself all situated, started, draw out your sketch. Try and draw it as best as you possibly can. Thank you. Hi, so I've lightened it a little bit. You're going to have a very difficult time seeing it, but I'm going to turn it upside down because basically I want the black charcoal at the top, but it's going to be easier for me to work with it this way. I've done a line a little bit lower than halfway because you don't want to slice the picture in half. I'm going to put my brush in the water, and I'm just going to wet all the area above the line in with water first, and then I'm just going to get a piece of charcoal, and I'm just going to start coloring it in like that, and just wet it to blend it a little bit better. Okay, And just continue doing that very carefully all around the egg. Hi, I had some issues with my first one, so I had to redraw it and do it again. So be careful with the charcoal, because the charcoal gets on your fingers and it gets all smudgy all over the place and it looks really awful. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to wet the bottom of the painting, the entire bottom, and this will be the surface that it's sitting on. And we're just going to put the paintbrush on the charcoal just to give it a light gray color. And just do all around the egg. Let it dry. Once it's dry, we'll put the shadow in the eggs. Okay? I just wanted to show you something. Meanwhile, it's still wet and you're doing the background, just for the shadow part here, just dip your paintbrush in charcoal a little bit, make it a little bit darker, just so you can have a nice blended shadow, just where your shadow areas are. And if it starts to dry, you should try and do it meanwhile the paper is still wet. Oops, this area is drying unevenly, so I want that to dry evenly with the rest of it. And so I put a little bit of shadow around there, just a little bit here, and a little bit there, and a little bit there. And I still haven't done in between there and here. So I'm going to wet those areas, and I'm going to do those areas. Thank you. Now, this isn't completely dry. You should wait till it's completely dry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some of my shadowing around the egg. And I just want to show you how I do it. I just wet right around there. Okay. Hi, welcome back. I'm going to finish off the shading because it's dry now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of shading around here, and I think that's all I need. I did do a little bit around there and a little bit around there, and so I'll just put, oh, and here. So right here and right there. And then afterwards, once I'm finished that, I'm going to use my fingers and clean up here. Well, I don't want to get my fingers too dirty right now. And if my fingers don't work, I'll just get the wet paintbrush and just slide it across. And the top part, if I use my fingers just to brush up the top part, that'll work. That should work. So I'm going to turn it a little bit. And I'm just going to dip my brush in the dirty water. I'm not even going to put it on the charcoal. I think this is going to be enough to get the shading in. No, it's not. I just need a little bit of charcoal. Okay. And then we're gonna do the underside right there. And clean up the brush. Then I'm going to try and just blend this water so we don't have any jagged edges. So it's nice and smooth. There. So we get a nice sort of transition. And that's it. Now, let's see. No, that won't work, so we're going to use the paintbrush. Oh, we just got something dirty in there.